In this recording, we're talking about chapter 21, and this is on short-term fluctuations. So we're talking about the short run. Okay, so fluctuations in what? We're talking again about our aggregate variables. Let's start by talking about the most important relationship in this chapter. It's one of what we call stylized relationships. Those are relationships that we see in the data, not necessarily causal. We can't say whether one side causes the other, but we can say two things are correlated. The two things we're talking about that are correlated are output and unemployment. And they're going to be correlated by a relationship called Oken's law. So Oken, an economist that this is named after. Let's talk about how this book specifies Oken's law. And I'm going to write down the exact specification from the chapter. It is y minus y star over y star equals -2 times u minus u star. Okay, you noticed me kind of pausing as I was writing that. That's because different books and different places specify this relationship in different ways. So specifically, this specification has a -2 out front. What does that -2 say? It says there's some relationship between the right-hand side, these unemployment terms, and the left-hand side, these output terms. And there's a -2 negative relationship between the two things. What are these left-hand and right-hand sides, though? They're not unemployment and output. They're differences between unemployment and some natural rate of unemployment. Okay, the star means natural rate. And output and potential output. The star means potential on the left-hand side. What are those two different things? Okay, so unemployment, the natural rate of unemployment, is the rate which exists when there is no cyclical unemployment. So we know the two other types of unemployment are structural and frictional. The natural rate is the rate that exists when only these two are happening and there's no cyclical unemployment. So if you don't remember the definitions of those three things, we talked about them in the unemployment chapter. So that's what this natural rate of unemployment is. Now let's talk about what the potential rate of output is. Erase. Okay, so the potential rate of output is again this guy. So the book is kind of vague about what the natural rate is, what the potential rate of output is. The definition that most people use is the potential rate of output is the level of output which exists when there are no market imperfections. Okay, what are market imperfections? In Econ 1, you learned about a lot of different situations where deadweight loss was created. What is deadweight loss? It's a situation where total surplus is not as high as it could be. So normally you have CS plus PS is total surplus, and a chunk of that gets taken out from deadweight loss. I'm sure you're all familiar with that kind of problem. This Y star, this is the level of output that exists when there is no deadweight loss. Okay, so situations where all markets are competing perfectly. That is what Y star is. So again, the star on Y means potential output. The star on U means natural rate of unemployment. And this relationship is a -2 relationship between these two so-called gaps. Okay, a gap here and a gap here. So this is what Oken's law is. It's a negative relationship, and this chapter starts talking about how do we look at the stylized relationship between these two things.